We spend so much of our lives making careful choices. We diligently choose the right foods. We follow our doctor's advice. And we take our medications on schedule. We build a fortress around our health, brick by brick, with every conscious decision we make, believing we are protecting the vibrant, independent life we've worked so hard to achieve. But what if I told you that one of the most significant threats to that fortress isn't a grand, obvious enemy, but a silent saboteur? What if it's something you invite into your home every day, something you trust, something you believe is nourishing you? I'm talking about what's in your glass. Welcome to Senior Health and Life, the channel dedicated to uncovering the essential truths that empower you to live your best life for longer. We often forget that the liquids we consume can be just as impactful as the food on our plates. For those of us over 50, this isn't a minor detail. It's a critical piece of the health puzzle. As our bodies change, our ability to process sugars, chemicals, and empty calories diminishes. A drink that seemed harmless a decade ago can now trigger a cascade of problems, from blood sugar spikes that leave you feeling exhausted and foggy, to hidden inflammation that worsens joint pain, to an overloaded system that struggles to maintain the delicate balance required for a sharp mind and a strong heart. The wrong daily drink can slowly, insidiously unravel the very vitality we are trying so desperately to preserve. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on this often overlooked area of our diet. We are going to expose 5 common types of drinks, many disguised as healthy, that could be secretly undermining your health goals. This isn't about fear, it's about knowledge. It's about giving you the power to make truly informed choices, to close the hidden gaps in your health fortress, and to ensure that everything you consume is actively working for you, not against you. If this is the kind of straightforward, essential health information you believe is necessary to navigate life with confidence, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Your support is what fuels our mission to create more content just like this, helping our community thrive. And now, before we dive in, I want you to consider a small but important question. It's something to reflect on as we go through today's topic. Which do you believe is a greater long-term threat to your health, the indulgent, high-calorie dessert you eat once a month? B, the supposedly healthy drink you consume every single day? Think about it for a moment, and please drop your answer A or B in the comments below. I'm truly interested to see what you think. Your answer might just change by the end of this video. Now, let us begin our journey by looking at 2 beverages that sit on opposite ends of the health spectrum in our minds. One celebrated for its natural wholesomeness, the other for its scientific ingenuity. Both, however, share a deeply unsettling secret. Let's start with something we've trusted for generations: packaged fruit juice. Picture a glass of vibrant orange juice on the breakfast table. It feels like a glass of pure sunshine, a direct connection to a sun-drenched orchard. We see it as a healthy ritual, a simple way to get our daily dose of vitamin C, but this wholesome image is a carefully constructed illusion, and the reality is a story of profound betrayal. To make that juice last for months on a supermarket shelf, manufacturers put it through a process called pasteurization. While this kills harmful bacteria, the intense heat also degrades delicate nutrients and, crucially, the natural flavor. to make it shelf-stable for up to a year. The juice is then stripped of oxygen, a process which leaves it virtually tasteless. So, how does it taste like an orange again? The flavor is added back in from chemically engineered flavor packs, proprietary formulas created by fragrance companies, the same companies that design perfumes. This isn't juice, it's a reconstruction, a chemical sleight of hand designed to mimic something nature already perfected. Beyond this deception, the physiological impact is even more concerning. A whole orange contains fiber, which acts as a natural brake, slowing down the absorption of its sugar fructose into your bloodstream. When you drink the juice, that brake is gone. You are hit with a massive, rapid dose of sugar, forcing your pancreas into overdrive to release insulin. For an older adult, this daily sugar spike is a relentless assault. It contributes to a vicious cycle of energy, highs and crushing lows, and, over time, can lead to insulin resistance. In fact, a long-term study published in the British Medical Journal involving thousands of participants found that while whole fruit consumption was linked to a lower risk of type 2 diabetes, greater consumption of fruit juice was associated with a higher risk. That glass of juice isn't a healthy shortcut, it's a Trojan horse, delivering a payload of sugar that actively works against your metabolic health. Now, let's turn to the other side of the coin, the diet soda. We make this choice feeling smart. We know the dangers of sugary sodas, so we opt for the zero-calorie version, patting ourselves on the back for our discipline. We believe we have outsmarted the system, but our ancient biology is not so easily fooled. The intense sweetness of artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, or saccharin lands on our tongue, sending a signal to the brain, sugar is coming. Yet, the promised energy never arrives. This creates a state of confusion in the body, a biological bait and switch. The scientific evidence for the harm here is mounting, and it centers on our gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria that act as a second brain. Groundbreaking studies, including those published in the prestigious journal Nature, have shown that these non-caloric sweeteners can dramatically alter the balance of our gut bacteria. They can promote the growth of unhealthy bacteria and reduce the beneficial kinds. This disruption isn't trivial. It can impair the body's ability to process glucose and can even lead to the very metabolic issues, like glucose intolerance, that we were trying to avoid. Furthermore, this neurological confusion can have a paradoxical effect by constantly promising sweetness without delivering energy. It can dull our response to real sugar and even intensify our cravings for it later. We thought we were making a choice to control our health, but we may have been handing over control to a chemical that disrupts our body's most fundamental communication systems. It's startling to realize how both the natural promise and the scientific solution can lead us down such a perilous path. Isn't it? As we continue, I invite you to think about what other safe habits in your life might be worth a second look. Let's move forward from the traps hidden in plain sight, the juices and diet sodas, and venture into a territory that feels even more modern and, for many, more confusing, the world of performance and convenience. These are the drinks we reach for not out of habit, but in a moment of perceived need, and it is in that moment of vulnerability that their danger becomes most potent. Imagine this, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The energy from lunch has faded, and a gentle but persistent fatigue is setting in. You see, your energetic grandchild has left a brightly colored, slim can in the refrigerator, an energy drink. Or perhaps it's a bottle of a vibrant blue sports drink. You think, just a few sips to get me through the rest of the day. It seems like a harmless modern solution. This is the first misstep applying a solution designed for an extreme circumstance to a common, everyday problem. Energy drinks were formulated for the physiology of a teenager pulling an all-night study session. Sports drinks were engineered for elite athletes losing electrolytes during a marathon. They were never intended for the gentle rhythm of a mature adult's day. When you drink an energy drink, you're not just consuming sugar, you are subjecting your body to a chemical cocktail. The massive dose of caffeine, combined with stimulants like taurine and guarana, is not a gentle lift. It is a violent shock to the cardiovascular system. For a heart that may already be managing blood pressure or other conditions, this can trigger palpitations, anxiety, and a profound jitteriness that feels deeply unsettling, and it inevitably leads to a crushing crash, leaving you more exhausted than when you started. It's a cruel loan with impossibly high interest. The sports drink is a more subtle, but equally treacherous foe. Sipping on that bottle while reading a book is like slowly hooking yourself up to an IV drip of sugar and sodium. That sugar, with no intense physical activity to burn it, goes straight to your liver and fat stores. That sodium puts direct, unnecessary pressure on your kidneys and your blood pressure. You reached for a boost, but you received a burden. Then there is the trap of convenience, most perfectly embodied by the chilled, pre-made coffee drink. You're out running errands, feeling that familiar afternoon dip, and you see it gleaming in the cooler. The label says coffee, a word synonymous with comfort and a gentle pick-me-up. You buy it, thinking you're just having a coffee, but from your body's perspective, you just consumed a liquid dessert. A single one of these bottles can contain more sugar than a can of soda and as many calories as a small meal. All of it stripped of any meaningful nutrition. This isn't just about weight gain on the scale. This massive, easily digestible sugar load is a primary contributor to the creation of visceral fat, the dangerous, inflammatory fat that wraps itself around your internal organs and is directly linked to a higher risk of heart disease and diabetes. You thought you were grabbing a convenient refreshment, but you were actually drinking a slice of cake. The common thread here is the misapplication of purpose. We take drinks designed for the most extreme physical demands and use them to solve the gentle challenges of our daily lives. The consequences are a direct assault on our metabolism, our heart, and our long-term health. It's an easy mistake to make, born from a simple need for a little more energy or a moment of treat. We've all reached for a convenient drink without a second thought. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Is there a go-to drink you've had for years that this is making you reconsider? There's no judgment here, only shared experience. Sharing your story can help someone else realize they're not alone on this journey. Finally, we arrive at a beverage that should be the safest harbor in our nutritional journey. Something so fundamental that its goodness feels absolute milk. From our first moments of life, milk represents nourishment, growth, and strength. As we age, this trust deepens. We see it not as a choice, but as a vital ally in the fight to maintain our independence. Every glass is a conscious effort to fortify our bones with calcium and vitamin D, a shield against the creeping threat of osteoporosis. It's a pillar of our health strategy, a symbol of pure, unadulterated wellness. It is precisely because of this profound trust that its corruption by the modern food industry is so heartbreaking and so dangerous. The corruption begins with a seemingly innocent act, the addition of flavor, a swirl of chocolate, a hint of strawberry. What could be the harm? It seems like a simple way to make a healthy habit more enjoyable. But this act is a betrayal of milk's primary purpose. It transforms a nutritional powerhouse into a stealthy adversary. The moment that processed sugar is added, a metabolic conflict is declared within your body. You are drinking it for the bone-strengthening calcium. But the flood of sugar simultaneously triggers an inflammatory response and an insulin spike that works against your overall health. Even worse, high sugar intake can interfere with your body's ability to properly absorb and utilize essential minerals like magnesium, which is itself critical for calcium to do its job effectively. The numbers are stark. A small single-serving carton of chocolate milk can easily contain as much sugar as a frosted donut. Let that sink in. You reached for that bottle with the noble intention of preserving your bone density. But in doing so, you bathed your system in the same amount of refined sugar found in a bakery pastry. This is the tragedy of flavored milk. It takes a hero of nutrition and forces it to act as a Trojan horse, smuggling in an enemy-processed sugar that actively sabotages the very health you are trying to protect. The lesson here is not to abandon milk, but to become a guardian of its integrity. It is to choose the pure, unflavored version and to reject the industry's attempt to turn a foundational source of health into just another sugary treat. We have journeyed together through a landscape of familiar choices, and I hope it has become clear that the path to health is not always as it seems. The purpose of our time together was not simply to create a list of forbidden drinks. It was to cultivate a new way of seeing. The true enemy we unmasked today was not sugar, caffeine, or a specific chemical. It was deception. It was the deception of natural that concealed a sugar bomb, the deception of scientific that masked a metabolic disruptor, and the deception of innocence that corrupted a source of fundamental nutrition. The goal was to hand you a new lens, a filter of awareness to place over a world that is constantly trying to sell you story. With this lens, you are no longer just a consumer. You are a conscious gatekeeper of your own well-being. So, how do we move forward with this newfound awareness? The answer does not lie in a complex set of rules, but in embracing a few powerful, simple principles. First, champion simplicity. The most profound act of rebellion against a complicated food industry is to choose the simple, unadulterated option. Choose water, infused with a slice of lemon or a sprig of mint. Choose herbal teas that have nourished humanity for centuries. Choose black coffee or plain milk. The shorter the ingredient list, the more honest the beverage. This is not about deprivation. It is about returning to a state of clarity and truth. Second, become a detective. The most powerful tool in your arsenal is not a diet book, but the nutrition label on the back of the package. You don't need to be a scientist. Simply train your eyes to find one crucial line: added sugars. This number is your secret weapon. It cuts through the noise of flashy marketing and health claims on the front of the box and tells you the unvarnished truth of what you are about to consume. Make this your non-negotiable checkpoint. And finally, and most importantly, listen to your body's wisdom. After all the science and all the evidence, the ultimate authority on your health is you. Begin to notice, truly notice, how you feel 30 minutes or an hour after you drink something. Do you feel a sense of calm, sustained energy? Or do you feel a frantic buzz followed by a slump? Is your mind clear or is it foggy? Your body is constantly sending you subtle, honest feedback. Learning to hear and trust that feedback is the ultimate act of self-care and empowerment. Your health is not a passive state that simply happens to you as you age. It is an active creation, a sacred home that you build and maintain, choice by choice, glass by glass. The power to protect its integrity, to nourish its foundations, and to ensure it remains a place of vitality and strength has always been and will always be in your hands. If this journey of becoming a conscious guardian of your own health resonates with you, we hope that you will help our community grow stronger. Please like this video to let us know it provided value. Share it with someone you believe would benefit from this message, and subscribe to Senior Health and Life so you don't miss the next chapter in our shared journey. Every action you take helps us empower more people, just like you.